So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Shannon Packham. You might know me from the Freedom Movement. You might know me from the Alberta Unity Project, which then turned into the APP. I now am working on the campaign team for Bob Leone, MLA candidate for Brooks Medicine Hat for the Independence Party. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is door knocking and just kind of getting out into the community and talking to the people who may be interested in voting, may not know there's an election coming or a by-election, and just, you know, kind of how to get our foot into the door, okay? So a lot of the things that I was trying to teach the people when I was with APP is it's easy to transition that to here. Basically, we are trying to engage with people, right? If we can start a conversation about anything with anybody, we can kind of segue our way in there with the Independence Party and the by-election and Bob Leone, who he is, what he stands for, and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is that we're going to try to engage with people, right? And then the second thing is we're going to advocate to the people we have engaged with, right? All these things work together. Engaging with, then we're going to advocate for the Independence Party and having Bob Leone as our MLA. So when we're advocating, we're also trying to educate the people, okay? What is the Independence Party? What do they stand for? What is their platform? Where did they come from? Some people might not even know who we are, right? So, you know, that's the second thing. And then we need to inspire all of the people that we have engaged with, advocated for, educated, or tried to. We need to inspire them to get out and do all of those things with the rest of the people. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's not going to be an easy task. It's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be daunting, right? If you are able to talk to, you know, somebody in the checkout line at the supermarket, this should be a no-brainer for you. So, when I went to the door knocking training in Calgary with Rob Anders, it was so much fun. Like, he just made it so much fun. He's a lot smarter than I am. He was an MP at some point. I unfortunately don't remember where, but that's okay. There's not going to be a test, so you don't have to worry about that either. So what Rob likes to use is a petition. So, you know, you knock on the door and you say, "Oh, hi, my name's Shannon. Have you heard about the political prisoners who have been incarcerated since the spring? Have you?" And they either have or they haven't. And then you can go on to say, well, you know, there's these 4 gentlemen and they were arrested and they were charged and they're still in jail awaiting trial, which is not going to be till the late fall of 2023. This is Canada, and in Canada, you know, we have a democratic process where you are innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. So whatever words you choose, you know, that this is the one petition that Rob had, the one that I have a copy of here. So then you can say to the person, would you be interested in signing the petition to help to free these gentlemen who are in jail? And they'll either say yes or they'll say no. If they say yes, then of course you go ahead and pass them the petition here. It's got their name, their where they live, etc., phone number, and an email address. Why is that important? The phone number and the email address. Well, that gives us more lists, right? Like, so we have engaged with this person. They are sympathetic to the independence movement. They are sympathetic to something that we care about, right? We care about freedom. We care about the guys that are in jail, as an example. So when we were in Calgary, we were in a Dutch community, and unfortunately, I do have it. So the first young lady, she was on her elliptical. We could see her through the window, and so obviously she could see us out the window. So she had to answer the door, right? So she opened it this far. Okay? And Rob's like, "Oh, hi, my name's Rob. I'm just wondering if you'd be interested. Did you know anything about the gentlemen that are in jail and stuff?" She's like, "No, I didn't." So then she opened the door a little wider. And then he showed it to her. And are you interested in signing this? "Oh, yeah, for sure." She would sign it and she would give all those things. And then he's like, "Oh, well, just to let you know," and if you can see this, there's a picture of Archer Pawlowski on this particular rap card. So he gave me the signed copy back, like I'm kind of standing behind him over here and passing him the things that he needs. He needs a pen, he needs a rec card, he needs this. And so then I give him the rec card and he's like, oh, just to let you know, this is Arthur Pulowski. Arthur Pulowski has just been, just won the leadership race for the Independence Party, and he is working so hard to help these gentlemen that are in jail. And have you heard about the Independence Party? Well, no, she had not. So that's another foot in the door, right? Yeah. So that's a conversation starter. Yeah. It's a way to engage with that young lady, et cetera, et cetera. He gave her the card. Her cat got out. I did catch it. We gave it back, and then we moved on. Okay, so that was the first door. Yeah, I got the cat.
Well, a good thing.
It was the biggest cat I got. Biggest cat I ever tried to pick up. It was like a shaved Siamese something, long hair on the head, no hair on the body. Anyway, I got it and gave it back to her, and then we moved on to the next house, right? So there was Sharon, Peter, myself, and Rob, and then Dana, Bob's wife Dana, showed up as well. And we went to several houses, and he did the exact same thing at every door he went to. We got 3 signatures, and like I was only there for an hour, but we got 3 signatures. Nobody slammed the door in our face. One person was straight up, the mandates were a good thing, blah, 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 and like we wished her well. We went to the street, said prayer for her. Just kidding. We showed kindness to everyone. We got kindness in return. So that is one way that we get our foot in the door. Now, I'm not saying we need to use this one. It's the only one that I have. We can make copies of it. I can also send a message to Sharon. Maybe she can get me another one. It is about carbon tax. There's not one person in Alberta that you will ever meet that is going to be super excited about having to pay carbon tax.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we were to take our petition, one thing I forgot to mention is that when he was talking to the first young lady, he said, if we get 25 of these petitions signed, 25 signatures, we can have an MLA bring it up in the House and try to make a difference. So that's an important part of that too. But I mean, if we were to go to the door and we had a sheet that said about the carbon tax, chances are we would have a lot of great conversations. That would be the engagement. We would be able to then, say, our candidate will speak up for the rights of taxation responsibility. What that means is, there's not one single liberal, anybody from the Manitoba border this way that voted for the carbon tax. So why are we having to pay it, right? So that's one thing. But if we were to get in the door with the carbon tax petition, then we can say this party is going to get rid of the carbon tax. And this guy right here is our voice to get that done in Brooks Medicine Hat, right? So again, it comes back to those things. Engaging, advocating, educating, and inspiring. Those are the 4 main things that we have to do. So, I mean, it doesn't matter basically how we want to start that conversation. We just have to start the conversation. So when we're out and about, like we have a bunch of these already ready. They're in the office. So, and we don't have to use the petition. We can talk about it afterwards too. If you want to just knock on the door and say, hey, have you heard about the by-election coming? Danielle Smith won the leadership race. I don't know how much of that you want to get into, but she can't actually sit in the legislature without having a seat as an MLA. So, and I really don't know if I want to put my opinions on what I think about how that went down on this particular video. So I will just keep that to myself. So anyways, we can knock on the door. We can say, hey, my name's Shannon. Have you heard that there's a by-election coming? It's November the 8th. There's currently 4 candidates. I can't remember the other ones. Danielle Smith and Bob Leone are probably the ones who are going to have the most traction here, and we're hoping that Bob Leone is going to have the best traction here, right? If we can win here, we can win everywhere. So once we get that conversation started, we can just hand them a package. We can go through it with them if they want. Perhaps they might want to agree to put up a lawn sign or maybe even buy a membership. And I have a few membership books, so we can use those as well. So any questions so far? Come on. This is an engaged group. You're all just nodding your heads. That part about there not being a test, I lied. There might be a test.
I think one of the most important things is to not bring up the COVID happenings over the last couple of years.
Okay.
Like stick to, the political
I
platform.
like the idea of the
the tax as,
Yeah,
What
anything
we
you want
present.
from the political platform,
Yep,
pick that.
Yeah.
Don't pick what's going on, because that's just
And keep
too,
it all
still too
positive.
volatile, and this, you're more directed and get to the
Right,
election
And get to the
platform.
and that's where I
solutions
like,
of
why I like the petition for about the tax.
Yeah,
yeah, the carbon
Because
tax.
you already have people agreeing with you
yeah.
right at the door,
Yes,
and then you build from that.
yep, that's right, Frank, that's
Yeah.
right.
So I like that idea.
Yeah, so, I will send a message to, Sharon, hopefully she can email us one and then we can print it off. Oh, we can print
Well,
off
we
a lot of
could, we
copies.
could use the petition itself, or
We
even
could
just
use
the
that one.
conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just the carbon tax conversation
Yeah.
even, you don't have to,
Yeah,
Have
it's
a
true,
petition for it.
it's true. If we had, see, at the top of this one here, petition to the Alberta government, it says, and this is the one about the political prisoners, I'll just read it to you, it says, whereas Casey Madhu admitted it was never about science, but about political control and power. Thanks to freedom convoys who had the courage to mobilize against these tyrannical policies, and at least half a dozen truckers from Fort Macleod, Taber, Lethbridge, Claresholm, and Olds have had charges laid against them because they rallied for their rights in Coutts, Alberta. These men are political punching bags who stood up against the mandate madness. The charges against them are malicious prosecution in kangaroo courts, pandering to political bullies. Therefore, we residents of Canada call for the charges against the truckers to be dropped and for Tyler Shandro to be removed from the Alberta cabinet. So that's just what it says on this one, and obviously if we know what it says about the carbon tax, that just gives us a little bit more, you know, information that we can share with the person who we are engaging with at the door, right? So that's just what this one says, but I can definitely get us a copy.
there's lots of people that are reluctant to give you the name, their phone numbers and email addresses.
Yeah, it's true.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Yeah, so, yeah, so, basically what we need to do, and I talked about this before, and I'm just gonna talk about it again, and I showed you that one, hi Gina. The social media campaigns and such that I put on my social media. So I put it on Facebook, it goes from Facebook, and I put it on Instagram, and then I tweeted about it, and if I had one of my grandchildren here, we could be doing a TikTok video right now, but I don't know how to do it. I'm working on that. It's a new class, we'll probably have it on Sunday. So, if we can do, before we start out even, if you don't mind, we'll do an engagement post on Facebook. We can put it on the Freedom Group or whatever, because we can still ask for volunteers to join us at some point, just down the street or whatever, the more the merrier. So it's important that when we go door knocking, that we go in at least pairs. And why would that be important? Anybody know?
well, somebody can be the talker, and then the other one can be handing the job.
Somebody has your back and you are covered, in
Yes.
case somebody
Yes,
pulls the,
because
Yeah.
there's a-
Well,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
pushing
list.
card, the.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you
So,
always go in pairs,
You know, like,
everywhere.
if Frank and I are door knocking or whatever, and Frank's standing over here, and he's got the clipboard, and he's got the petition, he's got the rack cards, he's got the information package or whatever, then the person that answers the door cannot say to somebody, oh, well, Shannon Packham was here and she bit me on the arm or something along that line, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's, like Tom said, it's just kind of like a CYA thing, right? Cover your butt. And like, we have a witness to what we're talking about.
Yes.
Nobody can come back afterwards and say that we had done something untoward
Right.
on their property or to them, or,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing. So
Right.
it's a safety thing for us. I mean, we could be knocking on doors and somebody could steal us and chain us up in their basement or something like that. I don't know if that happens, but you never know, right?
Well, you don't. Or
So-
people could,
I'm, pardon me, I'm a fairly trusting person, and when I was dropping stuff off in the summertime, just random people, hey, can I have this? And I just drive to their house, and my friend is like, well, do you know this person? No. No, sure don't. He goes, well, what if they capture you or, you know, kidnap you or something? I'm like, oh, that won't last very long.
They'll be
I'll
sorry.
talk them to
Yeah.
death, they'll get me out of
they'll
here.
let me out right away.
But that thought had never crossed my mind, right, until that person brought it up. So it's a safety thing. That's why we go in pairs, at least pairs. We can go in threes or whatever you guys want to do. So that's another thing. The social media post, when Barack Obama was elected, whenever he got elected, I'm not up on my American politics, but he didn't just become, you know, he came from nowhere and all of a sudden, boom, he's the president. They did that by going into the communities, and they made it so that, hey, I'm talking to you about this. What's important here in your community? And that inspired you to go out and get the message out to other people and make them work out, right? And we talked about it before. There's a lot of apathy, right? You know the gentleman I was speaking to yesterday. Well, I don't trust anybody. I'm just not going to vote. Oh. Okay. How do you think that's going to work out, right? Like, you know, there's however many of us in this room. There's 6 of us in this room. Okay, so I am really, really ready to go and do all the things that needs to get done. Kai's ready to do that, Frank's ready to do that, and you guys are like just coming along because, you know, you like to hang out with us. But that's the start. So that's how we get people in, right? Do something that makes Gina want to do, you know what, this energy is really good, right? Now I've inspired Gina to go out and take that energy back to her community and talk to her neighbors and do all the things that we're learning here today. Right? And then Gina's going to get Gwen to do it, Gwen's going to get Kai to do it, and so on and so on and so on. It starts with 1 person, gets to 2, gets to 4, gets to 8, and that's how we win. Right? So the social media posts that I did from Monday, so we start before. We should have started before while we were just having tea and crumpets here, but we didn't do that. But before, during, and after, basically. So you have before, and then you have your game plan, and then you have a debrief, basically. But we do that in a social media post. So on Monday, I forgot. It was a little bit of a whirlwind on Monday when we were here in Medicine Hat. Wednesday was a little bit better, so I had more posts with quotes from the people who were doing the speaking and things like that. So that's what we can work on. And when you do a social media post, rather than have your friends share it, get them to comment on it or tag somebody in it, because that's how it gains in the algorithm or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. What is it called? Is it the algorithm?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what else I can tell you, but basically what we're going to offer people is an opportunity to get involved. How do they get involved is up to them, right? We want to remain kind. We want to create hope. We want to bring back a sense of community, right? Because when we're bringing back that sense that we're all in this together, that's how we win, right? Strength in numbers, that's how we win. The more people we can make friends with and influence them positively towards the Independence Party and Bob Leon, that's how he wins this seat, right? Any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
For this area?
Yeah.
Do you have a constituency map with
Bob
boundaries?
Bob just sent me a text, and Elections Alberta hasn't given him the boundary maps, but I have one.
Okay, because I went on site at home on my home computer. Elections Alberta has the boundaries.
Yeah, they didn't physically give him the maps,
Yeah.
but we can probably get some printed off.
Yes.
It's a weird area actually.
They're all funny shapes.
Pardon me. Because from where I live at Patricia, it comes east. So it comes east on the 544, but misses Jenner. And then it goes south on whatever that road is. I don't know what the road is. It goes past the base, but doesn't take in the base. Right? And it kind of goes around the army base, and then it takes in Red Cliff, and Medicine Hat kind of follows the river.
Until it hits 41 and then 41 out all the way to Saskatchewan border.
On the north side, or whatever this side is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and then in Vinerville, up
Yeah.
there, and then we get Schuler, I think.
And does it go
Schuler and
up
Hilda and
Yeah,
to?
Really?
and it stops before you get. Goes
yeah,
up
we
there.
can bring it up. I wonder if I could bring it up on this somehow. Like this to this. But, yeah, so it's, we're obviously
So,
not gonna get to all
Out
those.
in that area, I'm not
Yeah.
so concerned with because that's a big area.
And
And
it probably goes
Saskatchewan
to-
border is going to stop you, and the Red Deer River is going to
Yeah.
stop you. But right here in Medicine Hat, where
It's
does
the
it duck
river.
and dive at?
It's the river.
So businesses and houses on the north side of the river.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
where we're gonna
Well,
focus.
and there's a corner that surrounds the hospital.
Yeah.
on the south side of the river, because we looked at that last night.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, and like I
Which
say,
is
Bob's on
bizarre.
his way back, so we can get some of those printed off and just kind of do a, but if we just stick to the same area, like all together, kind of,
Yeah,
if we
but
wanted
it'd be nice, like, we're kind of got a power group here.
to, power
If we
group, I
could-
like
if
that.
we could
The
do-
power group.
If we could do like an area, and then we could say, okay, this area, we've canvassed this area.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
move on.
Yeah.
To the next,
So that when,
so that we don't lose an area.
Mhm. That's right.
Can we-
So some of the questions that we can ask if we get our, when we get our foot in the door, are you interested in a membership? We can direct them to the website, or I have books, I've got only 2, but I'm sure there's some here in the office. Are you interested in a yard sign? Because that's important too. People driving down the street will be like, oh, there's an MLA for the Independence Party, and his name is Bob Leon, and that kind of stuff. So those 2 things. If we want to use the petition, I'll get the carbon tax one. I'll get Sharon to text it to me. We'll get some printed off, or email it to me, or whatever. We'll get some printed off, and the information package.
Right.
And also, we need volunteers, because for every polling station that there is going to be, we're going to need scrutineers. Because we want to be able to make sure that, Gwen and Gina are not counting 2 votes for this and throwing that one in the garbage, just, we'll pick on you girls, but that's what happens when you sit at the front of the room, you get to be the teacher's pet.
Or target.
Or the teacher's target, okay, that's why Tom's at the back of the room. So,
Easy target at the back.
With a good opening approach,
Nowhere to
being able to
hide.
talk to somebody at the door, how do you feel about the state of the situation that we're in Alberta right now? With the gas prices and the inflation and all of the
and
things.
impending food shortages.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
it's-
all of this stuff, like.
it's whatever,
think?
you have
Okay.
that you feel comfortable with in order to engage the person who answers the door.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if I can just say, our way out is power to the Albertans,
Right.
to the people themselves.
So it's also important that we know, what the platform for the Independence Party is. We all kind of have a basic understanding of it, and that's what's on the rack cards, right?
Mhm.
So this is really a shortened version. The one that I have, the whole back part of it is just filled with bullet points of what the Independence Party stands for. This one is really shortened down. And health mandates and lockdowns, like we said, we don't want to bring that one up as the number 1. Let's kind of leave that one in the background. But elected judges and sheriffs, parental rights restored, education reform, negotiate your own pipelines, etc. So this is really point form.
Yeah.
But whatever you have that comes to mind when somebody answers the door, go with it, right? Always remain kind, always remain,
Personable.
yeah, you betcha.
Yeah.
We don't wanna, if somebody throws an egg at you, thanks for the protein
Say,
and
why
beef.
didn't you fry it?
Yeah,
From the hard works.
yeah, from the hard
From
works.
the hard works.
You
Well,
betcha.
absolutely it does.
Okay, so, any questions? Have I gone over, you guys feel confident? No, you don't? I can't hold everybody's hand.
No.
We have to keep our messaging simple, we have to keep it concise, and we have to, keep it on point. Like somebody might start leading you down the dark garden path or whatever, talking about something else, and kind of as, what's the word, as politely as possible, just kind of extricate yourself from the situation, bid them a good day, and off you go
Yeah,
to the next one.
because you can be sitting talking about world situations for hours.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But, and again, you're gonna pick your audience. I mean, if it's a grandma or a grandpa who hasn't seen people for 2 years and they wanna talk to me, I'll stand there and talk to them forever, as long as they want. Because you know what I've found, the majority of the seniors and the folks that are at the assisted livings and things like that, do you know what they want?
Company, they want.
They want to have a conversation with their real face.
Yes.
And they want their salt shakers back. That's what they want. They want to be able to put as much salt on their mashed potatoes as they can. It's true. That's what they want. That's what this one lady said. I want my salt shaker back. Okay. Next one I go to, I'll put
Was
one in my
another
pocket.
medical
Right?
fallacy, that salt thing. just pisses
But I
me
think
off.
it was too, because then, like, if I touch the salt shaker and then you touch the salt shaker, and
Oh.
so then they have these
Yeah.
little packages, and a lot of them need some help opening that package. I feel her pain. I don't use salt as a rule, but if I didn't have a salt shaker, could be game on.
No kidding.
I've been demoted on Facebook. I just got out of jail again.
Oh dear.
So I'm way down the page.
Okay.
They told me they've moved me down for 90 days. So I'm not gonna be much good on Facebook.
Oh. Well,
Because
We can-
anytime any truth or something that comes out that they don't like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
You know
censorship is-
lots of people that'll be sympathetic to your cause when you put it on their Facebook for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that we're selling today, the biggest thing that we're trying to sell is change, right? Because if we continue to do
Power.
what we have been doing, we're going to
get-
continue getting what we've been getting. So nothing
And
changes
worse.
if nothing changes,
Exactly.
right? So
Yep,
so that's kind of it's kind of a leg off for you.
yep. This is our chance, this is our way out.
Yep.